Good evening and welcome to the May 26, 2026 meeting of the East Long Meadow Town Council. I'll call the meeting to order and ask that we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I would ask that we take a brief moment of silence to reflect on all of the events going on, both near and abroad. Thank you. In accordance with Mass General Law, this meeting is being recorded by LCAT, and if there's anyone else in the audience recording, if you could identify yourself. Okay, seeing none. Public comments. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to make a comment this evening? Okay, I see no one on Zoom or in person. Council comments.
Yes. Last week, this time every year, the former Grand Marshals get together and pick out a new Grand Marshal for this parade, this 4th of July parade. And we discussed a few candidates, but the one we chose, and we're very excited about it, is George Kingston.
Nice.
George has served over 35 years in our town. And we're very excited that he will be the Grand Marshal of the 250th anniversary of the 4th of July parade.
Very well deserved.
Thank you for that update, Marilyn. That's very exciting.
I've just got a couple of comments. The first is just to notify the council, the golf cart is set, a 4-seater for everyone. So we are good to go with the golf cart.
Who's driving? Jim's oldest.
You don't want that.
Was that the one that was in trouble today?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
I got the gas one, so it's gonna have a little zip to it.
Yep. Don't let Kathy drive. I'm good at that.
I think it's a lead foot.
No, it's got a governor on it.
I wanted to talk about the Memorial Day service that we just had. It was absolutely amazing. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Terry Glusko. He did a fantastic job going through each individual and their background and all, and just really appreciative. American Legion did a fantastic job along with Terry. The last thing is just a quick reminder, as we go forwards, we are going to have to advertise for a general bylaw change for the fee schedule. Right. And it's just something to keep on the action list going forwards, and send that out to everyone so that we can take an in-depth look at these, because there have been some concern over some of the fees. So that's it.
Great. Thank you, Ralph. On those two fronts, I also echo those same sentiments. I was at the Memorial Day ceremony yesterday, and it was well put on, and it was nice to see the turnout. They did a good job. And then on the bylaw changes for next month, Jackie already does have it slated to be advertised, and Tom was sending something around to the department heads for input as well. So the only thing we'll have to schedule is the council's bylaw review committee in between the two meetings to review any changes we come up with. Right on target. Any other comments?
Yeah, just real quick before we get into the budget. Sure. Number one, just so that I see some of the members of the Finance Oversight Committee here. I wasn't able to attend a lot of them because of the time, but I personally found them very, very valuable, very, very insightful and educational. So thank you so much for taking that time. And to our council president for kind of putting that process together. I thought it worked out great. I found it very, very valuable. So thank you for doing that.
Of course. Thank you, Jim.
That was it.
I'll also echo, I think it was great. I didn't get to really attend a lot of them either, so it was helpful to be able to see them on LCAT, be able to look at them afterwards. And it was such a beautiful Memorial Day event. It was, it's just knowing that it's like going to be not only the last Memorial Day event in there, but probably one of the last events in the old high school. Also, I think was like a big kind of seminal moment for a lot of us here that went to East Long Meadow High School as graduates, just knowing that that kind of chapter is coming to an end is, just a big chapter change for the community. But it was a great event to sort of end that, to be one of the last ones.
Okay, thanks, John. Anyone else? Seeing none, town managers report. Hi, Tom.
Hi. I got a brief one for you so we can get down to the fun part of tonight. The final, or the project reports for weeks of May 4th and May 11th of the new high school and auditorium are attached. Reports number 99 and 100 in high school, which is unbelievable to think we've been under construction for that long, but we're so close. It's just, I don't know. Every time I get one of those reports, I'm just so excited to see the progress. The building looks different, literally every week. It's really exciting. And I'll take a minute to sort of echo your sentiments about the Memorial Day ceremony. Obviously, thank you to anybody who had any part of planning it. What I always find sort of encouraging for humanity is the multi-generational attendance at these events, so that when you say words like remember and never forget, you're sort of instilling all this in all these people from 2 years old to 92. So again, thank you to everybody that had anything to do with the event. It was very heartfelt and just great ceremony once again. We have some upcoming events. This Saturday is the time capsule kickoff. It's at 1 p.m., 1 to 3 at the Norcross House. Sort of a smaller event just to kind of let everybody know what's going on with the time capsule. We've talked about it at multiple meetings at this point. But to open up a vault that's been buried for 50 years is certainly going to be exciting. And then to lay another one in its place for everyone to open 50 years from now. Speaking of multi-generational, it's just a cool, fun, historical thing that the town's getting involved in and going to keep being involved in. This is sort of the first event to kind of let everybody know what's happening. We're obviously looking for stuff to put in it. So we have suggestions, and then obviously banned items and things like that. So that's that this Saturday. We have the annual town election is June 2nd. So turn up and vote, please. And then Spring Fest, Summer Fest, there's a couple different names. We're gonna fest. That's June 6th from 11 to 4 at Brown Farm. There'll be another sort of time capsule booth there again, just to kind of continue to promote, this really just a historical event this year. We got a lot going on in town. 250th, like Marilyn alluded to earlier. It's just really exciting. A time of year that we always do well. We're going to do even better this year. And it's really exciting. So hopefully we see a bunch of folks out on June 6th. That's pretty much it. I'm sure we'll talk again when we talk budget, but thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions?
So just a comment.
Sure.
Nothing to do with your report, just a thank you. The decorations on the town hall, the bunting, the flags.
They look
they're all
nice.
Coming together, looking great, and definitely noticeable and appreciated.
Great. Yep. No, they're looking good. I thank you to Bruce Moore and the Historical Commission for sort of leading that charge to get some of those decorations up and about. So, yeah.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Tom. Nothing under communications, correspondence, and announcements, so we'll move to our public hearings. So we have a 6 o'clock public hearing. This is a public hearing for the proposed fiscal year 2027 capital improvement plan and operating budget per Article 6, Section 1 of the East Long Meadow Home Rule Charter. The council members from left to right are Jim Lyden, Kathy Hill, Anna Jones, myself, O'Shea, Marilyn Richards, Ralph Page, and John Torsha. And I would ask the clerk to read the legal notice into the record.
The East Long Meadow Town Council will hold a public hearing on May 26, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the Council on Aging Media Room, 328 North Main Street, and via Zoom webinar to review the proposed FY27 capital improvement operating budget, as outlined by Article 6, Section 3 of the East Long Meadow Home Rule Charter. The proposed FY27 capital improvement plan and operating budget can be reviewed in the clerk's office or on the town's website. The public hearing can also be attended via Zoom webinar. For the council, Jackie Sullivan, town clerk of the council.
Thank you, Jackie. At this point, I would ask our representative that we have, Rich Vaccaro from our Financial Oversight Committee, Russ Denver as well. I first want to.
Evening, everyone.
I just first wanted to say thank you again on behalf of the council.
He's so eager.
To all the members that served on the committee this year and to the council for attending most of the meetings as well. So thank you for your valuable input, and now the floor is yours.
And I would like to thank you for your appointment to this committee. I thought it was really well done. Mike, I think we both agree that Tom and Kim did an outstanding job. They had answers for everything. If they didn't have it that day, they sent it. It was in a timely manner. Well done. And if I could, so I had the pleasure of serving with George Kingston for 6 years on the planning board, just outstanding individual for the town. And I would be remiss to point out that, I don't know when your last town council meeting is, Marilyn.
2 weeks, I mean, two more meetings.
But this town is really built on people like Marilyn Richards, who give their time and their commitment, not only to the town, but to organizations in the town. I've been serving for 8 or 9 years with Marilyn on the Brownstone Gardens Board, and I know the effort that she puts into all of her boards and committees. Really fortunate to have Marilyn and others like her.
Very kind, thank you.
All yours.
Well said. So I'll be presenting the Financial Oversight Committee's report on the FY27 budget, and I'll be using the letter or document you received from our chair, Jim Broderick. And I'd like to go kind of smoothly, paragraph by paragraph, highlighting the important information in each section. So starting in paragraph 1, it gives you our timeline that we met extensively during the month of April and early May. The second paragraph gives our recommendation. We recommend the FY27 fiscal year budget for the town as submitted by Town Manager Tom Christensen. And even though we recommended with no changes, I want to emphasize, I think Ralph was, I'm sorry, Mr. Denver's already said this.
Not Ralph.
That's what I said, is that we really debated, we studied, we questioned this budget, really a deep dive to make sure that it was going to be successful for the town. And we all believed as a committee that it was and is going to be successful for the town. On the third paragraph, talk about the people who were involved. The committee as follows was Chair Jim Broderick, Russ Denver, myself, Kathy Hill, Anna Jones, Connor O'Shea as ex officio. We also were very privileged to have Ralph Page and Marilyn Richards with us at every meeting. Also, in addition, to really highlight the expertise, we had the town manager, Tom Christensen, and director of municipal finance, Kim Collins, with us. And at one meeting, we also included the superintendent of schools, Gordon Smith, assistant superintendent Pam Blair, and the chair members of the school committee. And once again, that word deep dive, we worked collaboratively together, but we questioned and we really emphasized to make sure this was the right budget. And I'll end about the people being there, because I have to really compliment the precise minutes of Miss Jackie Sullivan. Thank you very much for being there. Right, Kathy Hill? Another was a minute.
We were.
The fourth paragraph gives you the facts. The budget is increasing by 2.5%. On the town side, it's a decrease of 2.0%, a combination of a decrease in town expenses and a decrease in general fund and debt. On the school side, the increase is 3%. That was achieved through the elimination of 6 staff positions. So when we look at the tax rate, at the time of this document, it was 1920. My understanding now that it's been revised, that the tax rate will be 1909. Am I correct? Correct. The fifth paragraph talks about the general fund budget. We feel that the town is in solid financial condition, that we have projected 5% for free cash, and 8% in the stabilization fund. On the next page, the sixth paragraph, we have a lot of compliments here. Mr. Denver's already complimented our town manager, Tom Christensen, and our director of municipal finance, Kim Collins. They knew this budget extremely well. And as Russ said, if we had a question, they either answered it right then and there, or before the next meeting, we had an answer. So there's much hard work done by those two to make this the final budget. The seventh paragraph and our last is concerns. We do have some challenges ahead in the area of payroll, insurance, and health benefits, and retirement contributions. That will make the budget more constrained for the town and the schools. And I'm going to ask Mr. Denver now to go over the recommendations. When I said that this was very collaborative and a deep dive, Mr. Denver was instrumental. He had a different view of the budget. It really allowed us to really learn more about how health benefits affect things, retirement costs affect the types of contracts we have out there with our unions. So I'm going to ask Mr. Denver to kind of explain the 4 recommendations that we have in front of you now going forward.
Just the first was to review the current health insurance program for active employees and retirees to see if changes can be made to slow the increase in cost. 2, review all union contracts under the town's purview and get an accurate view of how much the extras are costing the town and determine within the town council scope what changes the council might recommend to the town manager to bring those costs under control. As an example, step increases, end of employment notice bonuses, paying for unused sick time, and uniform reimbursements. 3, study whether the town adopting the Massachusetts Paid Family Medical Leave Act would financially and administratively be beneficial. And then the 4th, which I know you are very interested in, is to reactivate the town's insurance advisory committee and setting aside in a health insurance stabilization fund money that is put into the reserve account, which could then be used by the town council rather than putting the money into a reserve account, which the town council could use for other expenses.
So to conclude, we're very excited with this budget. We feel it is accountable and will serve the citizens of this town well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Since it is a public hearing, there is now the opportunity for anyone in the public to make a comment. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to do so? I don't see anyone with their hand on Zoom or anyone in the public audience. Okay, so I will close the public input portion of the hearing, and now it is up to the council to.
So instead of closing it, how about we just bring it back to the council, just in case, as we're talking, if someone wants to.
Yeah, we can entertain that. So if anyone on the council has any questions or comments, now's your opportunity. Ralph.
Why does everyone look at me? So I do have a couple concerns, comments. So going over the budget, thank you to the Finance Oversight Committee. I did have one concern that I saw with regards to the school budget. When we have departments and there's money left over at the end of the year, we require them to turn it back. It looks like the school has decided to take $225,000 and prepay some services for next year. So it's my thought process that it's not a true 3% budget. It's 3% plus $225,000 that they're using to already prepay stuff for next year. My only concern is going forwards. If they don't have that same amount each year, they're gonna run into a problem down the road. Again, it's just something that I saw that, I mean, we've been very adamant with our departments that, you know, just because you don't spend the whole thing doesn't mean, hey, go out and buy, 20 weed whackers or a new mower or something that gets rolled back. And then my only other question is on the school choice. I know there's going to be 76 students because they've increased it, which at $5,000 a student comes out to $380,000. And I know they were saying that they don't consider that revenue, and they've put it into a separate fund and all. And I'm just trying to figure out whether it be from a town manager or, I consider that revenue. I mean, going forwards, there's gonna be 76 kids, there's 380,000 coming in. I don't think that should be a separate fund. I think that should be considered part of their revenue. And then from discussions, I understand that that's money coming into them. But on the opposite side, when we send kids out of district, that comes out of the town side,
Correct.
which, I mean, to me, that's a really good reason to continue to bring in as many kids as you can, because, hey, we're not paying for this, but yet we're bringing in all this money for us to spend. So it's just some concerns going forwards that I think we have to keep our eye on. I'm okay with the budget as a whole. I think keeping them, 3% for the school, and I think the town was negative 1.54, something like that. Means that we're tightening our belt. We're looking at everything. And I just want the residents to realize we're not just out there blowing money just because, hey, the money's coming in, we're spending it on anything. That's not the case at all. And I think going forwards, we're gonna have a couple tough years. It's hard with Prop 2.5, keeping you at 2.5%, especially when our coal is 2.5, and then you have step increases and all these other things. I mean, the average person's probably getting 4 to 6% raise, and we're stuck at 2.5. And at some point, those are gonna cross and create issues. That was my main side on the school. The only other issue I have is under the Water Enterprise Fund. I have concerns, like I said before, on the Slumber Lane and Greenwich. I appreciate the additional information that was sent. We received a 30-year capital plan for water, which created even more questions, because under that, Slumber Lane's not even listed. And so was that something that jumped the whole sheet because of another issue? Or, I mean, I know they've got Greenwich Road and Slumber, but those two roads they don't even come together.
Right.
I mean, one's here, one's here. It's hard for me to understand on a 30-year plan why those would be included together. Again, that's neither here nor there. Obviously, under the capital, it feels as though the general consensus is we're going forwards with it. I just had concerns. I mean, like I said, we're getting a 30-year capital plan that doesn't even include one of the roads on it that we're saying is necessary this year. The other thing that I noticed that I'm concerned with Summers Road under the 30-year capital water plan. We have that in 2031, and yet we're going to be letting the state repave the road in 2027. And 4 years later, we're gonna tear it all up to do a water main.
Well, I think that would change the outlook of that date for sure. Obviously, if there were issues with the main that made us keep that schedule, then I think the reason that Slumber and Greenwich are on there is because the amount of breaks that each of those streets have had in the last 4 to 5 years have sort of bumped that into a place that was not on the original plan. And Slumber itself, not that that's one of those streets in Springfield that we feed the water and Springfield takes the sewer. And so there was thought when we used to have to share the information so that they could build sewer. And there were a few other, abutting streets that we had to share the information, and we reconciled that, but there was thought that we were possibly going to sort of figure out a way to have them take the water infrastructure from us, which obviously didn't happen. But these things happen, right? We have these plans, and then we have 4 water breaks in 5 years, and we say, well, this isn't as good a shape as we thought.
And I will say the people on Slumber Lane, I talked to a few different residents, and yes, they're excited that, that this will go forwards. As far as on Summers Road,
Oh, yeah.
we've got 2 Summers Road listed here, from St. Joseph Drive to the Rotary, from St. Joseph Drive to the Rotary, but they describe 2 different water mains. They're both going to be changed to 12-inch, existing one. The second one says 6-inch CI and 6-inch AC, but the one up above says it's an 8-inch AC. One's going to be done in 2036, one's in 2032. I'm pretty sure we don't have 2 water mains on Summers Road,
Not active.
especially not from St. Joseph, so, yeah. And is there any chance, so either we do such like a moratorium and say, hey, listen, because we're gonna pave the road, we can't do Summers Road, the water for at least 10 years. I mean,
Yeah.
let's face it, if we did it and let the state pave the whole thing, and then we come up in 4 years and tear it all up,
Yeah.
Doesn't look good.
that's gonna come on every single one of us. And
Oh,
they're gonna
yeah.
be like, are you guys crazy?
So that's how we would have anybody follow with the 5-year moratorium after we pave. We certainly wouldn't do that, and that's why we try to coordinate with our work. But in the last 18 months, we found out that that road was getting paved. So I'm guessing they just haven't updated the water plan yet, because I'm not letting that,
No way to get
I'm
that,
not letting that water main plan get on there in 2031.
and there's
right?
no way
It's not gonna
to
happen.
get the water main
Before.
before.
Installed before, probably not.
I mean, now I can understand, but we've pretty much been waiting already a year.
Yeah, and again, maybe we just have to sharpen our pencil on some of these dates that were probably put in a spreadsheet in 2022 or 2021. And now things have happened that have caused 2 water mains that aren't on the list to be on the capital plan. So we just have to constantly update these things, and it sounds like maybe it just hasn't been updated. That, a water main on Prospect, or unless it's an emergency, nobody's getting in that road for 5 years at minimum, and we'd like to see it go farther than that.
I mean, I think life expectancy is over 20 years on a road.
Yeah, well, depending on the treatment, but yeah.
Like I said, I just know if we're gonna be called Long Meadow and Converse. They pave it, they dig it up, they pave it, they dig it up.
Yeah, no,
I don't want that.
nope. But I will pass along those concerns about the plan anyway.
And thank you for all the additional information
Yep.
with all of the rates. Obviously, the last thing which will come under a motion is the water rates. I know we had talked about it, and I'm of the mind that we should remove the reserves that we had in it and adjust the rate down to 8%. That's gonna be the way going forwards that I'm gonna recommend and vote, but I just wanted to put it out there for everyone. Other than that, after 2.5 months of looking at the budget, I think we're good.
I feel the same way.
Through the chair?
Sure.
A follow-up to Ralph's concern about the school department paying forward their assessment to LPVEC with this year's money. If we as a council feel that strongly that that practice shouldn't continue for FY '27 going into '28, we should be making that decision among ourselves and then conveying that to the new superintendent sometime in the early fall, and Pam Blair, so they don't position themselves to do it again. We can't tell them, but we can say we strongly advise against it.
And I think the thought process, at least with the school, is obviously when we vote, we're voting to give them a lump sum of money.
Right.
And then it's up to the school committee to spend that. It's just, like I said, we've encouraged other departments not to, so. And again, we could encourage them, whether they do it or not, comes down to the school committee.
Yeah, so that is one of those, call it oversight and sort of the accounting of, for the general law is the revenues are controlled by the school committee, and all the expenses on the cherry sheet come to the town, to the general fund. So it's kind of lopsided, and I don't know that the state actually thought about that when the accounting was set up sort of by the statute, but it's one of those things that all the revolving accounts are controlled by the school committee, and but the expenses, the general fund.
Other thoughts or comments? Yeah, I mean, the ones that I would have are fairly similar. I mean, I think it's been a good process overall. There's been a lot of, for as much information as we've received in every previous year, it seems like we continue to receive even more information and supporting documents, so thank you. It's a lot of reading material. I'd say we're pretty well informed on every aspect.
We keep going to seminars with DLS too, so you're just gonna keep getting more.
I took a note, though, that from the 4 recommendations that we had from the Financial Oversight Committee, it sounds like we're sort of adding 2 of our own recommendations from the council to give ourselves 6 total. One would be the school things that we just mentioned about the prepayments and school choice, and then the 6th would be kind of revising the whole capital planning process for water and sewer and how that might tie into other projects going on in town, or at least having updated information for them. That's everything that I had. Otherwise, I feel like we ironed out all the kinks that I may have had in the meetings leading up to the hearing.
Just one last question
Sure.
to Tom. Is the DPW still looking into doing a tiered water rate?
Yes, we have a report, I want to say a proposed rate structure. Again, it came some point in, I think, mid-May. And so it wasn't anywhere near trying to talk about in this budget, but I would like to have that conversation at the council level, probably start that conversation in like August or September, so that if it's something that we think that we should do, which I would recommend, at least in theory, the details of which we can all work out together, but that we should have something, I think we should have a meeting about it in the first quarter of FY '27.
I would agree.
Okay.
Good idea. And we have a 7th thing to the list.
They can be your goals, Tom.
All right.
That's one. He said it's already completed.
Is it? Let me check. I meant we just started.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? One last opportunity for the public, if there's anyone. Still no other people online. No one else in the audience? All right, so I'll close the public input portion of the hearing. And then I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved?
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is closed. And now we have the pleasure of more than a dozen motions to appropriate the budget this year.
I move that the town raise and appropriate $42,975,488 for the town purposes and charges in anticipation of revenue during the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2027 for the operation of the town departments as contained in the town of East Long Meadow, FY 2027 proposed town budget, using the column headed 2027 Town Council adopted level 4.
Second?
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And
So a suggestion,
sure,
because we have so many, Jim started, can we just work around?
Sure.
One at a time? That way there's no jumping or anything, and
I'm going to be recusing myself in motion 1B, so I don't think I should be I can put it in down.
How about if I take that one?
Are we going in order? You can mind.
Or would you like to? Go ahead.
And I'll take hers, and then we can go straight.
I was hoping you got the next one, but
Okay.
And just to put on the record, will recuse myself as well from motion 1B and physically leave the chamber.
And for, for the public's understanding and for the record, the purpose of my recusal and Jim's as well is because we both have an immediate family member as an employee of the school department, and it would present a conflict of interest otherwise.
Thank you for that.
Okay, ready? I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate $38,012,504 for the town purposes and charges in anticipation of revenue during the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2027 for the operation of the school departments as contained in the Town of East Long Meadow FY 2027 proposed town budget using the column headed 2027 Town Council adopted level 4.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
to recuse.
Oh, thanks.
That was quick. Places to stack stuff.
Bring it over here, I don't have it.
I read this.
Thank you. Done.
All right,
Okay,
All right.
I'm doing the next one.
number 2.
For Anna?
Cool.
Okay. I move the town vote to raise and appropriate $100,000 to be added to the other post-employment benefits liability trust, OPEB, number 8225, for fiscal year 2027.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay.
Sure. I move the town vote to raise and appropriate $75,000 to fund the compensated absences reserve account number 8226 for fiscal year 2027.
Second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, this is a fun one. I move the town vote to raise and appropriate, transfer and reappropriate, and/or borrow in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, for capital projects for the 2027 fiscal year, a total sum of $8,036,835 for the purposes and in the amounts set forth in the proposed FY 27 capital projects, a copy of which is attached to this motion as follows. Raise and appropriate the sum of $3,779,246 for general fund capital projects to be funded as follows. $1,811,020 from free cash and $1,968,226 from raised and appropriated funds. Raise and appropriate the sum of $1,654,000 for sewer enterprise fund capital projects to be funded as follows. $1,554,000 to be bonded from the sewer enterprise fund and $100,000 from retained earnings. Raise and appropriate the sum of $1,695,000 for water enterprise fund capital projects to be funded as follows. $1,600,000 to be bonded from the water enterprise fund and $90,695 from retained earnings. Raise and appropriate the sum of $502,718 for Stormwater Enterprise Fund capital projects to be bonded from Stormwater Enterprise Fund. Raise and appropriate the sum of $70,000 for LCAT Fund capital projects to be funded from retained earnings. Raise and appropriate the sum of $150,000 for CPA Fund capital projects from the CPA Historical Resource Fund balance. Capital projects in the amount of $190,176 were approved contingent upon grant funding as noted in the table below.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay.
Okay, Connor, what do you want to do? We have the motion and the alternate.
Discussion before.
Yeah, we could do the discussion before. We originally had, as part of the packet, the original prepared motion from the budget that was submitted by the town manager by our May 5th deadline. And then from some discussion that we had at our last meeting, we had asked for some alternates based off of different options that we had with the Water Enterprise Fund. Similar to what Ralph was talking about, whether we kept the rate the same as what was proposed in the budget versus lowering the rate using different methods. So potential alternate is available. I'm not sure what the pleasure of the council is in terms of which one we would like to go forward with. I know Ralph had
So
stated.
my suggestion was to try and give a little relief and go with the $4.97 per 100 cubic feet, realizing that this doesn't affect any of the capital projects, doesn't really affect the fund. It just doesn't increase the amount of retained earnings within the fund. It basically says that what we're raising, everything we're raising is being used. I think that's the best way to go. It's an 8% increase, which still adds up, but it's better than 11%.
The 497 is the 8%?
Yes.
Right.
What's the 506?
Nope, motion 5, it would have been 510.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm flipping too many pages. Forget it. So sorry.
I would echo Ralph's rationale.
I think,
Oh, no, you can go.
no, I was gonna say, I agree with that. I think when we saw the backup documentation that was sent to us of the rates that were from some surrounding communities, while there's always some outliers that are lower or significantly higher, it seems like most communities are around the $5 mark. So if we go to 510 as originally planned, that's a little bit higher than some of the surrounding communities. And I expect that we're gonna have to increase the rate again next year. So if we can keep it as appropriate as possible, it seems prudent.
So with the 8%, there would be no retained earnings.
Yeah, well,
We still have 1.2 million in retained earnings.
we basically, yeah, the retained earnings, the line that got cut from the expense was just a budget surplus item. And the reason that we budget that is to add money to the retained earnings. If we have less expenses in this account, we could still have retained earnings. So it's just an estimate based on whatever we think we're gonna use over the year. And then we like to add a surplus so that the account is replenished in the event that we actually go over. So we're basically over budgeting a surplus because of the plus or minus usage that we get every year. And so just by removing that surplus that we're budgeting, that drops the rate pretty considerably. But doesn't necessarily, like Ralph was saying, hurt the operation. It would just be, our policy has always been to budget a surplus so that we continue to hit our goals on retained earnings, which we're at and or over on all. So it probably wouldn't be as big of an impact because the account's in such good shape.
I guess as long as Tom and Kim feel comfortable not having the extra retained earnings.
So there were a couple other scenarios there, and after the 8% one, we start getting into that no-fly zone that we don't like to talk about, using
When you go-
reserves to fund the budget.
Yeah.
Because that's just a hole you're gonna have to make up next year anyway. So that's not really temporary relief. That's sort of cutting off your nose to spite your face. This is, would be a temporary relief and not hurt the account.
Okay,
But that would be as far as, say, we would be comfortable recommending a budget for the water.
at the 8%.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I think as long as you two are comfortable.
Kim's not saying anything.
She's shaking her head.
Shaking my head, I didn't want to interrupt her. She looked at me, I shook my head.
I have to be honest, I don't mind the 510, because again, exactly what you said, I don't want to cut off my nose despite my face. I looked at my water bill today, and I think if it went up to the 510, it would be like $20 more. If I figured it out properly, I don't know if I did. I think I did. So I don't necessarily have a problem going to the 510, but if everybody feels comfortable at the 497, I'm fine with that as well. So unless anybody else feels strongly of going to 510, I mean, I'm good either.
I feel comfortable going with the 8% in comparison to all of the other options
Okay.
that were there. If the retained earnings were not at the point that they're at, then I would say, no, we don't want
okay.
to do this right now.
Okay.
I think with the level they're at right now, I think it'd be fine.
We're okay, okay,
He's the boss.
all right.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If we only had, a couple 100,000 and it was kind of iffy as to what happened, it would be risky,
Okay.
but I think we're stable.
So I'll move ahead with the alternate motion, and if it fails, then we'll move to the original one. I move to increase the water rates from $4.60 to $4.97 per 100 cubic feet for fiscal year 2027. Said rate has been factored into the Water Enterprise Fund budget for fiscal year 2027.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Motion number 6, I move to increase the sewer rates from $4.84 to $5.06 for 100 cubic feet for fiscal year 2027. Said rate has been factored into the Sewer Enterprise Fund budget for fiscal year 2027.
I'll second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
I move the town vote to approve the proposed FY 2027 stormwater fee schedule, a copy of which is attached to this motion and is made a part hereof by reference entitled FY 27 stormwater enterprise rates in column recommended FY 27 stormwater fee.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Discussion.
Sure.
So if I understand correctly, we haven't increased the stormwater fee at all. Its level would last. Perfect. Thank you.
Good call out. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Back to me, huh?
So that would be the alternate,
Yeah.
right? Considering we've already done the rates.
So would be the alternate motion. Okay. Let me see.
I move the town vote to appropriate $4,069,617 for the Water Enterprise Fund budget for fiscal year 2027, and that $4,069,617 be raised from enterprise receipts, a copy of which is attached to this motion and is made a part hereof by reference entitled Water Enterprise Fund.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes.
Motion number 9, I move the town vote to appropriate $2,746,444 for the Sewer Enterprise Fund budget for fiscal year 27, and that $2,746,444 be raised from enterprise receipts, of which is attached to this motion and is made a part hereof by reference entitled Sewer Enterprise Fund.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Number 10, I move the town vote to appropriate $468,813 the Stormwater Enterprise Fund budget for fiscal year 2027, and that $468,813 be raised from enterprise receipts, a copy of which is attached to this motion and is made a part hereof by reference entitled Stormwater Enterprise Fund.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, number 11. I move that the town vote to appropriate $172,788 for the LCAT Enterprise Fund budget for fiscal year 2027, and that $172,788 be raised from enterprise receipts, a copy of which is attached to this motion and is made a part hereof by reference, entitled LCAT Enterprise Fund.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. I was trying to decide how to approach this. I'll try. I move the town vote to authorize revolving fund spending limits for various town departments appropriate pursuant to the provisions of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53E.5 for fiscal year 2027 as follows. Revolving fund, solid waste disposal, number 2805. Authorized to spend fund, the health department. Revenue source, sale of trash bags, recycling rebates, and mattress fees. Use of funds, salaries, expenses, supplies, and contractual services to operate the solid waste disposal and recycling program. Spending limit, $149,966. Revolving fund, Council on Aging, number 2809. Authorized to spend fund, Council on Aging. Revenue source, General Council on Aging programs and events such as fitness room memberships, exercise class fees, event fees, facility/room rental. Use of funds, salaries, expenses, and contractual expenses to operate these programs at the Council on Aging. Spending limit, $28,948.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, motion number 13. I move the town vote to raise and appropriate $20,000 to fund the Dwight Road, Maple Street District Improvement Financing Program, DIF, DIF, account number 2663, fiscal year 2027.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion. I just have a question. Since we do this every year, and I know it started quite a few years ago when that happened, is this something that we're going to keep continuing on for an indefinite period of time?
Year.
20?
20 years.
It's not indefinite, but I'm not.
I think it's 20.
I think it's
I was involved in it when it was created. It's a 20-year program.
good question.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
I move the town vote to authorize receipts reserved for appropriation for the ambulance fund pursuant to the provisions of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 5F for fiscal year 2027 as follows.
Amen.
Should I?
Nope, and raise and appropriate.
Yeah, you missed the sentence.
And raise and appropriate funds to subsidize the ambulance fund with the total funding for the ambulance fund to be provided as follows.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Do we have to, considering the motion says as provided as follows,
I read the,
do we have to read that in? No.
I think if you're willing to amend it to say as
As
attached.
Yeah, it's attached.
as attached.
Attached here
I'll
too.
amend my motion. Note those
And
appropriate.
I'll second my motion.
All right.
Yeah, so just because it does clearly state like 2,130,000 is coming from the fund, And then the $305,605 is coming through general fund subsidies, because we're appropriating that out of the general fund.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So do you think we should read all of them or just those two key?
No, I
Oh,
think
okay.
because it says in what you've referenced.
Okay.
That we're raising the appropriating one portion, and then the rest is coming out of the general fund.
Okay. All right, so we are good. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
I move the town vote to approve the FY 2027 ambulance rates as presented below. BLS emergency base rate, current rate, $1,403, proposed rate, $1,445.09. BLS non-emergency base rate, $1,403, current rate, proposed rate, $1,445.09. ALS non-emergency base rate, $2,242, current rate, proposed rate, $2,309.26. ALS 1 emergency base rate, $2,442, which is the current rate, proposed rate, $2,309.26. ALS 2 emergency base rate, current rate, $3,374.42, proposed rate, $3,475.65. Specialty care transport, current rate, $2,242, proposed rate, $2,309.26. Mileage, current rate, $37.86, proposed rate, $39. Intercept fee, current rate, $312, proposed rate, $321.36.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Motion 16, I move the town vote to accept the recommendation of the Community Preservation Committee and appropriate from the Community Preservation Fund Reserve for fiscal year 2027 from the revenues estimated to be $300,000 for the purpose and the amounts as follows. Administrative expenses, 5%. Historic Resource Reserve, 10%. Community Housing Reserve, 10%. Open Space Reserve, 10%. Undesignated General Reserve, 65%. And to appropriate from the CPA Fund to the following. Pine Knoll Pool Payment and Principal and Interest, $36,400. Brown Property Payment of Principal and Interest, $45,040. Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Number 17.
17, I make a motion to accept the FY 2027 Chapter 90 apportionment in the amount of $906,161.26 to be expended under the jurisdiction of the Department of Public Works, and said sum to be reimbursed by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, with that,
Yay.
17 motions later, we now have an approved budget for FY '27.
Great. We decided on all the alternates to not give you the updated budget sheet with 8 different iterations. So we'll make changes based on your votes tonight, and that will be posted to the website prior to June 1st.
Fair enough.
It definitely saves a lot of rework until we decided what we wanted.
You know,
No, but thank you for putting together the alternates and all of that information, Kim.
Thanks for all your hard work,
Thank
Ralph.
you.
Okay, now that we have the budget done, orders of the day, we have no licensing matters. Under financial matters, we have accepting a donation.
I make a motion to accept a $400 donation for the East Long Meadow Summerfest from Frigo's Gourmet Foods per Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. I guess I would just say thank you to them for the donation. Okay, next, we have approval of minutes from our May 12th meeting.
I make a motion to approve the May 12th, 2026 executive session minutes.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The open session minutes.
I make a motion to approve the May 12th, 2026 open session minutes.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next, under old business, we have our 250th anniversary. The first topic was the design banner proofs, so let Tom take it away since he did the coordination on that.
Well, obviously, thanks to Jim White and his team at Go Graphics. They put together some pretty cool ideas, I thought, for some options for banners and signage for the 250th, which I think Connor forwarded to all of you. We had to move a little quick on one of the.
I think so.
So the answer, at least with me, is no.
Okay.
Not,
I don't think they were attached.
yeah, I got it.
We got the email, but they weren't attached.
Oh, maybe the attachment didn't go through.
You're fired.
Oops.
You got it? I'll just.
30 days.
I just sent it to everybody. Sorry about that. There was one in particular that was fairly, festive, but also had a sort of silhouette of the town hall. And we sort of moved to use that on the time capsule because we needed to sort of have that ready for display at the kickoff meeting on the 30th, and the time it takes to wrap the vault, the time capsule vault. We use that design or portions of that design on the capsule.
There you go. Yeah, he just sent it.
But again,
Hey,
I think, they have a few different iterations, all sort of with their own sort of spin on celebrating 250. We did find during the course of this that the national 250 symbol is a registered trademark. So if we wanted to use it, we were going to have to pay.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is just containing our seal, sort of their take on the 250th thing. And then the one with the town hall on it has the Mass 250 on it, which is not a copyright.
Okay.
Yet, now that I'm talking about it, I'm sure it will be tomorrow. I was planning on, if we sort of came up with some kind of consensus of, I don't think you can kind of go wrong with any of the three designs. Like I said, I do like option one. It's kind of old timey. And it has the town hall on it, which I love. Can't see my office, but whatever. I actually dug up, Ryan Quimby helped me dig up the receipt from the 125th. And we bought 30 of them to hang on it was basically just the spokes coming off the rotary. It wasn't the entire parade route. So that you kind of got the feeling for it when you were down towards the coming into the center, the decorative light poles. And so that's sort of where I was aiming. But again, I welcome any and all input, thoughts. You want to get more, we can do that. You know, I think we should probably try to make a decision sooner rather than later so that they can be made and put up prior to July 4th. But I anticipate leaving a lot of this stuff up
I like the zero.
Napa building.
for most of July and August, if not all the way to Veterans Day. But
So the example you spoke about with the town hall, are we using that, or would you like to use that in the 20-inch by 30-inch banners on the poles?
yes,
Perfect, looks great. I mean, I had to get to that picture.
Yes,
I don't like the zero.
What's
yeah, I don't like the zero in it.
They need the donut hole in the
It
middle.
needs the,
you want like a smiley face emoji?
no, my face.
You're brought to you by Counselor Jones.
I think we need the donut hole.
Yeah, just put a hole in there, make it, because it looks like a.
It looks
Yeah,
funky.
looks like
But
25.
isn't that the official?
I think that's the Mass 250. That's their thing.
Who was asleep at the switch on that one?
Oh, John.
Even make a hole. John could look at the
John, what kind of zero is that?
So how about this for a zero?
We can't if it's
Well,
adopted.
no, if you just scroll up a little bit, under fire department wall, option 2, you can see the 250th,
Fire department.
Oh, here's one, yeah.
third from.
Oh, I didn't see
that
that the
one.
town hall. I like the town hall being in it.
Yeah, no, I like the town hall, I'm just saying for 250, do it like that.
That's
Oh, that type of design.
Yeah, this type
Yeah.
of the scrolling.
Yeah, if you go all the way down to the bottom and then come
No,
up,
go above 2 slides. I can't find the fire department.
it's slide
Nice.
17,
Oh, there it is.
17 and 19.
No, this one? That
No.
old one? 250.
17 to 19.
No, now go up,
One more, go up one more.
go up one more,
One more again.
right there.
Right there.
there.
That
So
line.
see the way the 250 is?
Right.
Would you want to have the Americas? like,
Instead
thing?
of it being a solid.
Yeah.
So it says, up above it, the mass, but the 250, just change the design to that.
I'm sure we could take the Mass 250 thing right off of there.
Basically put a hole in the zero, either way.
Yeah, I think we could just put a hole in the zero. Simple for them to do.
Anna brought it up, so it's a
mean-
decision.
Yeah, that seems fair. I think it's there. It's obviously there because that's
Yeah.
the state one. But I don't think it changes it necessarily if we,
Yeah.
make a hole and make it blue in the back. I mean, that's fine.
I have a question. So for the mesh banners, we have 3 options. For, hold on, pole banners, 3 options, or we're gonna pick one and it's gonna be
On everything.
the same for all.
Well, I guess that could be part of the conversation.
That
was-
might keep the price down.
I guess it depends on pricing, but it would be, I would like to see, I mean, I kind of liked all 3 of them. If we had to only pick one, I would pick option 1 over the other 2. But if we could do all 3 and have a mix, that would be kind of nice.
Did you
instead
say
of
last
both being
time
the same.
we did 30 of them?
Yep.
The turquoise
10,
is,
10 and 10?
it's not really red, white, and blue.
Oh, see, I like that one.
You like the
best. I like
turquoise one?
I like
It's
option 3
not-
the best.
Yeah. You're gonna get all of this, and we're all gonna have a different opinion.
It's fine.
Anna's gonna go around with her.
I'm just gonna get spray paint and go, shh. It's gonna be a perfect circle.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna get silly string on all of you when you go by.
Yeah, I mean, there.
This one too.
If we went with, say, one option for all the banners on the street and then a different option for some of the other, I don't know what everybody's appetite is to be putting banners up all over the buildings and this, that, and the other thing. And the wall on Napa was probably the biggest thing I've ever seen.
I love that.
Oh,
Well, I mean, you're gonna have the carnival and all going on, and
Yeah.
that's what everyone's gonna
Well, we'll
say.
have to get permission from the property owner.
I don't think that'll be an
Writer.
issue.
We'd be thinking about putting one on the new town hall as well.
Oh, yeah,
That's a good idea.
yep,
That's a great idea.
yeah. Yeah, I think that, strategically, we can put these wherever we want. I was sort of following the
That's a good one.
The design, so the reason for that is it's like putting the flags up. They put them in the same spot every year because the hardware's there and it's easy to do. And so a lot of the poles where the banners were still have the band on the pole. So we probably could just run the same playbook and buy the 30 that we bought last time and then have an extra one for town hall, or when they come down, keep one somewhere, or I'll do whatever. Again, like I said, I think we kind of got to figure out what we want to do if.
I think the
Yeah, I
pool-
mean, again, for me, I kind of like the idea of having the mix of all three so that you're not just seeing the same exact banner on 30 poles. It's kind of nice to see a sequence of them. And then even the same sort of thing for the large printed banners. It would be kind of neat if different sites had a different one to, it's almost like a scavenger hunt in a way. Did you find 3 designs?
Yeah, and again, these were all from their brain. I had nothing to do with
Yeah.
the locations that they suggested or what was, this is all Go Graphics and their imagination, which is kind of what I asked Jim for because I don't have it. So,
But if you're doing 3 different designs, the setup is gonna be more challenging, and how much difference in price are we talking about?
that, I don't know, we're not there yet.
So I guess when I was thinking about it, like, if we did 3 options, I would think about it like the poles would be all the same. Then like a banner on a building would be different. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like if the poles were like alternating, I think it might look
Especially
a little funny.
turquoise.
I like the turquoise. I think it might not look as good.
So with the poles, like the telephone poles, you gotta realize that this isn't like each pole, like the flags.
Oh, okay.
Every 4 poles. So there's a pretty good distance in between the telephone poles with our flag.
Well, less important for the banners. We have the poles on every pole with a light.
Which is every 4th pole.
Well, some of them are every other. And then the intersections, and so there are a lot, but they all are the poles with a light so that we're following the rules. But these banners, we could kind of go anywhere with. There's no rules on lighting banners at night and this, that, and the other thing. So
Oh, I see what you're saying, because it's flag, it's.
the flag is lit by the street light.
So maybe that's the next point. I mean, I think if we had to make a decision, it sounds like it's hard because we're pretty good with all 3 of them.
Yeah.
But
With the exception of the 0.
with the exception of
Gotta do
the,
something about that.
Good call on that.
but it kind of sounds like we're good to proceed with pricing and see,
Okay.
are there different prices if we go with all 3, or is it, the
doubt
same
it.
price no matter the,
I'm gonna guess it's priced by the sizing, not necessarily by the designs they showed us.
I
Right.
think so.
So,
So we could probably do all 3 and then not.
yep, all right.
Okay.
Well, maybe instead of T-shirts, we could have Jim do a rap for each of them. Be okay.
We'll really need to sit on the golf cart. We're not gonna be able to walk.
250th togas or something? I don't know.
But thank you to them for putting that together.
Yeah, it sounds.
Excellent. It's
Yeah.
very creative.
Really cool looking.
I feel bad for the one person there going, I really like that 0. Yeah, no one liked that.
All right.
Very nice.
Thank you, Tom.
Excellent job.
Right, then the second thing for the 250th anniversary is a polo shirt proof that I had put together. Very similar to what Ralph.
I know.
Off the run around.
Slightly
Ralph doesn't need
different,
one, he already has it.
just a slightly different font for the town
Town
council
council.
portion.
I like that you have a male shirt and a female shirt.
Too.
I
Yeah,
think
it,
that's really nice.
it took a little
Good
time to
night,
find a,
Good night.
brand that did both the,
Right,
the
right,
options, because there were a lot of like unisex ones
Right.
that didn't seem to work well for either. But,
Very
so that's what I
nice.
had put together.
it.
I don't know if you had any thoughts. And Ralph had found like a different specific 250th anniversary
They are gonna look like a rap.
one.
Keep it, Ralph.
Ralph, you should get that for yourself, since
Strictly-
we have the red one.
I might have that one on.
Strictly for the
You tell Ralph that we're all
250th,
doing that one and not.
and then the red one be that we wear at different events and all.
That's not nice.
So you're gonna order these shirts right after the election, so that whoever ends up getting
Has a
elected
shirt.
is gonna need a shirt.
It's gonna be difficult.
Yeah, it seems like the time frame we have a couple week lead time, so I was gonna order them ahead of time and order some extras in different sizes. That way there, no matter who gets elected,
Depending on the outcome.
Right.
we'll be ready. And then,
Perfect.
even then, for future councils, a couple of years from now, we'll still have some extras hopefully for.
That's a good thing to do.
In case Maryland makes a comeback.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
Never say never.
So does everyone like
I like the red.
Yeah,
the red one?
I like the seal.
Very nice.
It looks good.
I know your design had all white, and I know what
Great.
was with the black stitch.
I don't like the black.
That's because you're looking at me.
That's, she likes turquoise. It looks turquoise.
Yeah,
I like this one.
Yeah, because it'll put the
the white. I like the
red
white.
background.
The white.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Ralph. Let's buy a new one. Ralph just
But
didn't
you
want to
can
buy
get
another one.
turquoise.
I'm still wearing this, so.
I would also like to suggest that Tom has one that says town manager.
Oh,
Yeah, I can make one for you.
since I don't have the sign.
You should have a sign.
Usually the guys with the town council sign are banging into the back of me.
Now the question is, do we want the town manager to have the same red color, or do we want to make him wear blue or something?
Turquoise.
I would suggest,
Yeah.
I mean, that's sharp.
Yeah.
thank you,
Well,
thank you.
the fire department did
You had one.
provide me with the tire last year. I've asked the police department to do the same. I mean, I don't know if they're going to, but I may be all set, but I would appreciate it.
I think it would look better if you
Wear
had,
the police shirt.
I think
at
it'd
one
look
of the
better if you had
meetings.
something that said town manager instead of a different town department.
All right.
I agree.
Okay. Sounds great.
Do you still want red or a different color?
Should I?
Right across the back though, in capital letters, town manager,
Like with Bishop.
blame me.
Yeah, yes. Number one, bullseye.
The one.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, I'd wear red.
All right.
If that's okay.
Of course.
Great. After the meeting, I'll take a count of all the sizes we need, and then I'll,
Order.
And I have to stay the same size till July 4th. Damn it.
you can eat after the parade now. All right.
I'd like to bring something up.
Sure.
about
Yeah, there's still the 250th.
Yeah. I'd like to see our guy back at East Village, our Uncle Sam.
Is that a motion? I'll second it.
What if they don't want to give them up, though?
I think I got a little pull there.
Well, you do, so just take
Is
care
there
of it.
any way, I don't know I can't remember what the issue was last time, something about,
Doesn't matter, we have 30 days.
So it was
sign or billboard, or I forget,
determined it was a zoning violation because it was a sign.
sign.
Based on our very loose, vague definition of a sign in our bylaws, probably on purpose, and quite effective. But yeah, Ralph's right. There's a 30-day appeal period in which you don't have to do anything about it.
But hasn't it been placed somewhere else?
It's in front of Nathan Bill's, isn't it?
I think so.
Currently.
Oh, okay, all right.
It was down by the, Civic Center.
Riverfront,
Or, sorry,
Riverfront.
He's moved
Mass
around.
Mutual Center.
Yeah, he moves around.
Yeah.
But he could come back for a few
That's
weeks.
Middlesex Village and Farm.
As long as I feel like he's welcome.
Comes back, we should give him a shirt.
A big shirt, not a big size shirt.
Triple X.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to, do anything to purposely violate the bylaw, but at the same
Do we
time,
even, do we have a building commissioner? We're still waiting for that?
Actually, what I forgot to update. We have a building commissioner starting on Monday.
Nice.
It'll take him a month.
July 5th.
Zoning and understand it, so.
Yeah,
Pass an exemption to it?
Yeah,
I know, can we,
maybe like a resolution of some
I
kind.
would think if a counselor could persuade someone to have it moved here.
I might be able to do that if that.
It's here for.
Jesus,
With that.
I suppose just for the record, I have to be the one person to disagree with bringing him back into town. I thought it symbolized, I mean, I know it was painted patriotic colors, but I didn't appreciate the historical symbolism of it in town, and I thought it sent the wrong message to our community, so I don't want it
Oh,
back in
because it
town.
was a plantation,
Man.
yeah.
But wait a minute, he was the mutual
Ford
Ford.
man before that.
Right, but
That's his
knowing,
origins.
knowing the
Now we're gonna have.
named past that he had,
People
it didn't
change,
sit right with a lot of people.
People change.
people change.
Actually,
Truly, I never thought about that, but
It's
I
Uncle Sam, yeah.
understand your point.
You what?
originally he was called Uncle Sam, and he became the mutual Ford man. And then they moved him up in front of the Plantation Inn.
On
which
Burnett Road,
was- Yep,
yeah,
which was a motel.
yeah.
And I know there's the 30-day period, but I don't think we should knowingly be trying to circumvent our own bylaws without changing them.
So the sign bylaw has pretty much been found to be obsolete and unenforceable.
Actually, all the
Because of
signs
the
we're putting on
Supreme Court.
buildings. Truly, I mean, really.
It also brings up a broader sort of point of like, maybe relooking at like our sign bylaw of like.
Review the bylaws.
Well, like,
Right about it.
like is a statute, just taking it out of this context, like is that considered like a sign? Even if like it doesn't have anything written on it or anything like, because
So-
I think it's just the figure itself, right? There's nothing written at the
No.
bottom.
Currently, anything that draws attention is considered a sign.
Literally, if you read that definition, you could make a bird
Sensation.
a sign.
No sign violations for 30
I feel like,
days.
yes. I feel like the original purpose would have been like to speech or other, act like real signage, whereas, but that's bigger discussion than what we're talking about right here, but.
It prevented you from just putting anything up of any size, anywhere you wanted, without going through the zoning process.
But it didn't prevent the mural on the side of the ski house. And it didn't prevent many others from going up that were considered illegal, but nothing was done about them. That's part of the issue.
Right.
But with that, I don't think the council can take a vote one way or another. I don't know if it would be appropriate to take a vote to violate our bylaw,
Well,
but
obviously,
if you're asking me personally,
no, I mean, I don't think we should violate the bylaw, but I feel like if we want to have him for the 250th, there's a way that we could,
Get them.
I would say what a private property owner chooses to do or not do is their volition, but as long as it doesn't appear on any town property.
Well, that makes sense. That's
true.
That's true.
And it would be enforced. That person is well aware of our feeling about.
okay,
That's it.
got it,
That's enough resolution for you?
loud and clear.
Bring them into town under cover of darkness.
Sneaking a 40-foot statue around, it's no easy task.
Any other 250th topics? Wasn't in the wire now. All right, next we had, under old business, an update on road paving projects.
Yeah, so obviously, we're gonna have a busy year this year. Well, thanks to the official approval of the capital plan, and $1.8 million in change. We'll have, so this year on the paving plan, for sure, our Pleasant Street in its entirety, Summers Road in its entirety, Prospect Street, basically in its entirety with The section that we paved recently, I believe, is just getting a micro surface, which is a skim coat, just to seal it up again. As well as Chestnut Hill, which has become in very disrepair just in the last year. And so since we've already done that part of Prospect and are doing the rest, Mark's gonna have them mill down the hill. I don't know, a few hundred feet.
Yeah, down to,
Yeah,
okay.
that's in really bad shape. And then depending on the budget from Chapter 90, the last water main project, which was Niagara, Kingman, Avery, that whole neighborhood back over there, which will be nice. I think a few years ago, one of my last years in DPW, we did this neighborhood behind the park. And it was nice to be able to bang out a whole neighborhood with 6 or 8 streets, and that's how that water main project is gonna look. The way Mark has been doing things, we're also with the new data on the pavement management plan. He has been using a certain amount of our money and you've probably seen him because he's done a lot more than the streets that I've just mentioned, taking pavement cores and virtually every street that came up red, which are the really, really bad roads. I stepped over one on Wyndham, which is in my neighborhood yesterday, and it's just a 4-inch diameter hole they core to decide what kind of treatment is appropriate. So this plan is built, by professionals, but by site above ground. You can sort of tell by the way pavement wears and cracks what kind of treatment it needs, and that's where their scoring system comes from. But in order to plan for a project and then estimate it properly, you take a core so that you know not only what's going on with the pavement, but what's going on underneath it, which is really, most of the roads in the red are a full reclaim, meaning a full depth rebuild of roads, which is why we sort of backed off going down side streets when the budget was really tight, because we just didn't have the funding to make it worth our while to spend that kind of money on such a low traffic street when we still have Pleasant Street and Summers and Prospect and some of our main roads. So depending on when that data comes back and it gets sort of thrown through the ringer, we'll know how much more money we can spend. But for right now, the names I just mentioned, that's the top of the list. And in all likelihood, all those will be done this year. I don't know the state schedule just yet, but I would assume that they're going to get most of that done prior to the calendar year changing, because who knows what happens in the spring, and their contract has to be done June 30, 2027. So my thought, again, I sort of wrote in my self-eval too, the funding by the state was encouraging, again, that they kept this elevated level where we had previously been at $580,000 to $600,000 a year, and now 2 years in a row, we've got $900,000. You just read a motion. But the governor's been trying to make that a 5-year apportionment, and it's been unsuccessful last year and this year. So there's really no guarantee that we're not going back to the old Chapter 90 formula next year. Luckily for us, I would expect a similar size capital project in next year's plan, using the same, if not more, amount of free cash to try to catch up. Kim and I were just talking today, we forget the rest of it. We're at $3.5 million in excess for investment income that will get rolled back into free cash next year. So we should have another pretty reasonable amount of money to lay out towards paving, which Until we get some continuity, I think, in the state sort of level of funding, it would be nice if they could make that kind of 5-year commitment, because I think at the end of that 5 years, you wouldn't even sort of notice just carrying that through for another 5 years. So that's where we're at right now. And again, I probably did the same thing when I was in Mark's shoes, but he's very protective of that list that he puts out, because almost everybody wants their street paved. And if their street came out in this as red, they really want their street paved. And so Mark's doing a good job. There he is. There's my buddy. And so Mark's doing a good job of, in these years where we've got this extra funding, and if we continue to fund in the capital plan, which I think we should, and I will recommend again next year, like I said, where we can continue sort of the aggressive nature in which we're doing our secondaries and our primaries, but also taking a percentage of our Chapter 90 money and start picking off these neighborhoods that are really suffering, because it was just our philosophy for so long that we didn't have enough money to even think about spending all of our Chapter 90 budget on one side street or one cul-de-sac. But now I think we owe it to the people on those cul-de-sacs and those streets to start having a plan to get some of that work done, whatever the cost. Again, so that's where we're at right now. That list of streets is where we're going to be at for FY27, with the potential of adding some other streets if the data bears out and the budget bears out.
I have 2 thoughts on that.
Okay.
Well, 3. First, thank you for getting that list together. Second is, I know you just said them all now, but could we also post that on the town website? So,
oh, Mark's going to kill me. All right.
Not the potential, like maybe we'll do it, maybe we won't if the
Yep.
numbers bear out, but at least the ones that we know we
Yep.
are happening, so people
Yep.
have a
Once it's in
clear
writing.
idea.
Yeah, right.
And then the third was, I know from that pavement management report that we had, there were like alternative things that were recommended to do, like crack sealing, stuff like that. Is that something that would come out of these funds, or is that just something that comes out of the normal highway budget to do those?
Those are typically Chapter 90 projects, depending on the size and scope of that work. But again, I applaud Mark and Bruce for sort of taking this data and doing what you're supposed to with it. You wouldn't think, Maple Street we did 4 years ago. They've already put crack sealing in some of the spaces where they think they needed to and fog sealed it, because that's how you make it last. And you sort of are protecting that investment, because that was 2 years of Chapter 90 money way back when. That whole Maple Street corridor was $1.2 million. And so they're making sure that part of that budget is going to crack sealing a road after 5 years, or fog sealing after 2, or it's more than just going out there and milling and overlaying, which I'm ashamed to say was really the only option I had when I was in Mark's seat. We didn't have the money, and we didn't have the maybe the talent to come up with these ideas. We just kind of were roughing up the places we knew or got complaints about, and then put some new mat back down. But they have there's just so much more out there, and Westwood is basically the equivalent of a full reclaim at like a third of the price, because they're just recycling the material and putting it back down with a mix. And that's where taking those cores out of the road really help, because they design for what they're going to pull up, what they need to add when they put it back down. And then you end up with I mean, let's face it, Westwood looks amazing. I expect more of that. A lot of these projects are going to need DOT approval through their portal. There's a timeline. Parker and Meadowbrook and Hamden Road will not because that's our money. And we don't need approval other than yours to go spend it. So I would expect that that will start shortly after July 1st. As long as that works with Mark's contractor and we have a lot of pavement, even outside of roadway pavement that's going down this year. And I think it only makes sense that we're trying to market this to a singular person so that the price comes way down for all of this. So you guys know, the more the tonnage goes up, the better price we get. So provided we can get some quick answers from DOT on approving these projects, which they've been streamlining their process online, we should be able to get these all out to bid and or started in the early part of FY27, which is great.
Excellent. That would be awesome. We'll go from hearing complaints about roads not getting paved to why are 5 streets closed?
How do I get around this town?
I love those complaints.
I know.
Tom, do you have the price tag like on Pleasant and Prospect and Chestnut?
So Pleasant is somewhere between 900,000 and 1.1. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I don't have it printed out. But it is almost the equivalent of 2 years of Chapter 90, like waiting to let that bank fill up so that we could do a large street like that.
That's the full length of Pleasant from
Yep.
Porter Road to the Rotary.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because the last time we did it, it was 2 separate sections that kind of failed independently.
On
Unpleasant.
yeah. I can get better numbers as they come out. Like I said, I think Mark has Pleasant,
That was a ton of money, right?
Summers.
Yeah.
So the total was 3, but over 2 of that was Summers Road. Because the length of Prospect wasn't as far, and we paved, I think 10 years ago from the center to Chestnut on Prospect, and we had just done the other side of Chestnut down to Pembroke. Is that where Great Woods comes out again? Pembroke, about 5 years ago. So those aren't, it's not a full mill and overlay in those sections. But yeah, Summers is 2.5 mil, somewhere in there. Yeah, it's pretty expensive.
So Meadowbrook Road was the entire road that we're gonna be doing.
Yep,
Hamden Road, from where to where?
from Parker to the town line.
Parker to,
Yes, from Parker to the town.
so from Summers Road to Parker, doesn't get done on Hamden, from,
Yep, that got done
yep,
12 years ago, and I think they had just crack sealed that 3 or 4 years ago.
they did. That's why I was looking, we're gonna redo that road? We just did it.
Yeah, no,
That
Part leading into Hamden that was kind of in rough shape.
it is in really rough shape.
Parker is from like Timber.
Fernwood,
Okay.
yep, Fernwood all the way to Meadowbrook. And then Meadowbrook will turn into the new pavement on Summers. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's gonna be great.
That's a lot of paving.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's not unreasonable as,
Summers and Prospect, obviously the state's doing those
Yep.
and it's on the state's time, but at least we know they're in the schedule and
Yeah.
in the loop.
and I really think a project of that size, Parker and Hamden and Meadowbrook, at minimum, will be in front of you again next year. I think we're gonna be in a good shape when we turn back some of this investment money over our projected revenue, so,
I have a question.
yep.
The state's gonna do Summers Road. How much involvement does the town have with that particular project? Or does the state bring in their people? Do they pick who they want to do the road, or do they just give us the money and we?
No, they'll do the project.
So you don't have, so then you can concentrate on something else.
So, yes and no.
Oh, dear.
Mark will inevitably spend a lot of his time, again, it's still a contractor. And so we'll want somebody to inspect to make sure that that is what we're supposed to be getting. Yes, we're not necessarily in a way putting the money up for it, but we all did already, didn't we? Mark will inevitably spend a lot of his time out there making sure, making field decisions on behalf of the town. If things don't look right, when they go from 2D to 3D in the field, typically some decisions will have to be made. And then we did a fair share of drainage work just to make sure our stuff was all up to speed that the state wasn't going to do. We did it so that we'd be all set when they came through.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's exciting.
To follow up on Summers Road, so I'm assuming saw cutting will be done. So there's a few people with new driveways, and they have reached out to me with concerns that they don't want the state, the town, when we're doing these roads, to come in and tear up their new driveway. And I tried to explain to them, no, typically they're gonna saw cut it and they'll butt it up nicely, and but I don't want to be hung out to dry.
Yeah.
Well, that's yours,
I know, this is a thing that is difficult, and a lot of times when people get their driveways done, the driveway gets feathered in further than the driveway, meaning past the edge of the pavement. And so naturally, when you cut the edge of the pavement, now you got to make up a 3-inch lip getting back down to that grade, instead of how they had done it, which is 6 inches horizontally into the pavement. So inevitably, unless you want to bump at the end of your driveway, they may have to chase back a little bit to make sure that that's smooth.
I'm certain you know who I'm talking about.
We had to do this a lot, and there's a lot of people with like stamped concrete or pavers, and most of the contractors will be out there working with the neighbors. If you're doing a project to this side, you got to notify everybody so they can get out of their driveway to go to work or park their car down the street, because they're going to be parking in front of their house. So I would assume every contractor we worked with would go around to the neighborhoods to let them know where they were going to be, so that if you needed to be somewhere at a certain time, you could leave your car somewhere.
Whole condo association.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. And so, like Summers, we're gonna have to
do a lane, or
we'll have to sort of get at. So, for instance, we try to communicate this information as much as we can to everybody. Long Meadow sent me an email to forward on to the chiefs when this construction was going to start. That's where they go to the hospital. They need to know if there's an alternate route, which way to go. So if we're going to impact travel this much, we're going to try to let everybody around us know when the schedule is playing out.
Thank you.
Yep.
And what's North Main Street? Was that for next year?
So it was originally on for FY27. That's been pushed to FY28. I guess I'll.
Phase, right?
Huh?
We're still in the.
We're at 25%.
Yeah, next goes.
The next will be 75%. My guess is the administrative part of getting to this next part with the layout, the abutters, if there's any real changes to the layout, if we have to take some property, that they'll try to not do that. And again, I think that's where their roundabout instead of the traffic lights conversation sort of halted, because there wasn't really enough room over there, and the grade coming down to Stop and Shop. But yeah, I'm hopeful we get going in FY28. Again, we've been approved, the money was there for this project. So I can get an update for you on where we stand with the design. I know last time I talked to Van, who lives in town, who works for VHB, he was excited that they got to the 25% and moving on. And phase 2, we already had a meeting on phase 2, which is another 4 years out, but that's from right outside here where this first project ends, all the way to Brook Street, which includes the Westwood intersection, which would be, I would assume the distance between projects would stay the same if this project moves. So 28 and 33, or 32. But yeah, that's been frustrating, the design process, getting to hitting these milestones late. Because then, again, now you're pushing the next milestone off, and it sort of messes the whole procedure up. But I'll try to see if I can get an update on the TIP project for next meeting.
If they end up with extra asphalt on any of these projects, any little patching on North Main Street, I'm sure would be appreciated.
Yeah, the last two thoughts I have on the paving discussion, one is just for the public. I know it's frustrating even for us that it seems like it took so long, but there was a lot of planning and a lot of time and money that we had to get. And then once we do, now we're going to see the benefits of all of that, which is good. Then the only other thing that I was thinking of, because you just mentioned the 3-part TIP project on North Main Street, is the Rotary's in pretty rough shape now. But I know we're sort of in a, what do we want to do for the future? But I think we'll need to start thinking about that, because I don't think we can wait, even if that's part of a TIP project or something, 10 years before we repave that in some capacity, so.
Yeah, I would assume from using our sort of traffic logic, that could use a treatment sooner rather than later. And even if it were the microsurface, 3/8 of an inch, and just sort of bring that back up to clean, that's worth an investment based on the amount of traffic that area sees. So that's probably going to be the answer, because any full sort of redesign, reimagining is at least that many years out, right? And that's where you get into these, at some point, you've got to do something, right? So.
Great. Thank you for the updates, Tom.
So Connor, just a footnote, just want to thank you for, reaching out as far as for the capital. And I think it was a great idea to pick certain areas and streets and say, okay, what's the cost of that? That's what we're going to put in towards it, instead of just putting a clump of money aside and going, well, we don't know what they're going to do, but here's $1 million towards it.
Yep.
Projects was definitely the way to go. Thank you.
Of course.
And then just real quick, I think it's not the road paving necessarily, but there was a question or somebody brought up the sidewalk master plan.
Yeah.
That has now been updated, and I think, I know the plan's been updated. Whether or not it got uploaded to the site yet, I'm not sure, but those changes, all the sidewalks we've done since the last thing was done, and then I think the Chestnut was the one that somebody had asked about.
Someone had asked, yeah.
Which again, will fall in line in whatever order comes in. The problem with some of these areas is there's nowhere to land in the middle of these two segments. You want this part done, but there's no sidewalk on Prospect or Shaker so we kind of got to pick those off strategically as we go. But I just wanted to address that, because I know that's came up more than once in meetings.
Perfect. Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Next, we had the farmers market fees from the speaker that we had at our last meeting. So we did some additional follow-up from that, and I asked a few more questions based on the answers that we got to try to get some clarity around that. At this
I'm
point,
more confused now.
Me too.
That's what I said.
I read it like 3 times, and I think Tammy's answers, she did a wonderful job explaining it and answering my questions, but it seemed like I got more confused about, I think we almost need a chart of if you're a town resident and you want to do this, what does the workflow look like? If you're not a town resident and you want to do this type of good, what does the steps you have to follow look like? Because it seems like there's so many different layers of rules that you have to follow and fees that apply in this step but not this step, that I couldn't confidently tell someone how much they need to pay in order to participate. We can't explain it, and we're the ones setting the fees. I don't know how the public would understand it.
But it also gets complicated if an individual branches out in different directions, and each direction, costs another fee.
Right.
Based on whatever they're doing. So that, And that may not be anything we can really fix, because we don't know what individuals are gonna do. I mean, if you're just gonna bake things in your kitchen and have folks pick that up, that's fine, but if then you're gonna bake your stuff and take it someplace else,
Right.
that creates another issue.
Yeah, I think there's some of that we won't be able to solve just based off of the state's health regulations on different categories of
Right.
food. But at least from a town perspective of someone coming to us and they want to do something, we should have a clear path of
Absolutely.
what's
A
required.
bit more simple, a little bit more direct.
And maybe this is an opportunity, I know she mentioned the form could use some work, but maybe we just need to get this into a E-code process where if what are you trying to do at the farmer's market? You're trying to sell this type of good and you check the boxes, great, that requires that you do these things and how much it costs. That might make it easier.
So through the chair.
Sure.
So under one of the emails, this got me, it's cottage kitchen, residential kitchen permit. It says this permit is to produce food in your home and does not cover the sale of the food off-site. You're making food in your house, what are you supposed to do with it? The reason for the cottage kitchen is to sell it off-site. You make cookies, you bring them to a farmer's market, but yet the permit doesn't cover that. It only covers you making the food. Doesn't allow you to sell it, just to make it. I'm like, and again, I don't know if that's part with the state or whatever, but stuff like that just doesn't make sense. If I'm paying for a permit to make food in my kitchen, you got to be able to sell it. I mean, why would you make it if you can't even sell it? And, oh no, okay, well, that's one in order to make it. Now you need another fee in order to sell it. Now, if you go to a farmer's market, you need another fee. And I think that's where it comes in. And then on top of all of this, you need your business license. And if you're doing it out of your house, you have to go to the planning board. It's like, wow, I don't want to cook.
Right, I think that's where it comes in, because I think the more I was reading everything, it doesn't even seem like a $75 fee itself is necessarily high, but when you're adding it on top of all of the 3 or 4 things that you have,
Which is what
each that
Deborah
have their
Ronstadt
own
was
fee,
trying to
Right.
point out.
that's where it gets unruly.
So
And it'd be something to look at like at the local level, because I think when Deb brought up a good point, like all these other communities, some of them had like appreciably lower, so clearly like some of it might just be at the local level, like, because these other towns are already pricing in that state regulation. But like that first thing, like that doesn't make a lot of sense, like, because you might, it's like a fee to just cook in general, which if that was the case, if we were all paying that.
then you
Go ahead.
also need a site review permit for it. And I'm like, well, what are they gonna look at, where your stove is? And it's in your kitchen. Some of it just didn't make sense, and I think before we maybe finalize our fee schedule, that we just look at this a little more in depth and try and pull from other towns and see what other towns are doing. And it may simply be that we have a separate category for a cottage kitchen. This is what the fee is on that, and that allows you to sell at farmers markets and stuff.
That makes more sense.
Sort of automatically gives you this other right.
Yeah, this,
I feel like most people that are doing this would be in that category.
Yeah.
Usually a farmer's market or like equivalent. I don't think there's really a lot of other situations that we're dealing with here.
And I know, and I told you, and I'll tell you, Tammy is obviously more than willing to come in.
Yeah.
We always, when we were talking about this, we knew that we were gonna have the 2 meetings talking about the fees in June. So Tammy and/or the Board of Health will be more than happy to explain sort of the rationale and/or suggestions on how to sort of maybe limit some of those fees. I kind of like that all-inclusive permit, right? Like, if you're gonna have this cottage thing, maybe that entitles you to go to bring your stuff to farmer's market, sort of by right, if you will.
It seems like that would just more benefit residents, where if you're coming in from the outside, you're still absorbing the fee, but if you're
Right.
in town, you do this fee,
Right.
exempt from, or it gets built in, or you're
And I made my ginger snaps, I just bring them right over.
exempt from the other, that makes sense.
Right, because it makes sense if you're, still a full-blown restaurant in town that you need to follow all the different categories.
Absolutely.
But if you're just trying to sell cookies, like you said, it's like, do you need to do all three separate categories, or can we kind of do a bundle package here?
Yeah. I agree.
Great, so I think we'll take that as an action and we'll keep that,
Yeah.
Keep moving
but-
forward.
See if I can plan for, or have Tammy plan for some of her time, at least the first meeting in June.
that would be great.
Got my in with it. Oh, yeah, you also have an in with the board, yeah.
Thank you, Tom. All right.
Sorry, no dinner.
All right, next we had the town manager performance evaluation. I had extended the due date for the council to submit their evaluations to me till our first meeting in June.
Thank you.
But,
Of course, guess I'm going right home after the meeting.
no, so this will be to be continued at our next meeting, but Tom did submit his self-eval to us with his town manager report, so at least we now have that to reflect on when we're crafting our comments, and,
You mentioned, excuse me, you mentioned in your self-eval that you were going to get a sort of a report in the beginning of June. I just have a question. I'm curious, this report is being put together by Architects EL.
Yeah, so I had them help me take our existing space study and do one for the new space and sort of see what that merge will look like.
Okay,
So to facilitate what that move will look like.
so that study doesn't include anything having to do with other buildings and assessment in terms of,
So Bruce has he already has the existing document for all of our buildings. That's how he sort of populates the capital plan.
and so how do you formulate that information? Is that part of this too? Or,
It's all gonna go together, so
Okay, okay.
as I was thinking about this, yes, we need to know all the things you wanna know about all our buildings, but how, I turned it into making the move into the new building. So, and that involves some space programming with our existing staff and space, and then any future needs and what that's gonna look like over there, and giving them some ideas about perhaps having a meeting room in there, council chambers or something like that. And so,
So
Yeah.
we'll be able to have the report before the,
I would assume,
okay, great, thank you.
yeah.
great.
Through the chair, in the past, we've done on a scale of 1 to 10, and there's multiple questions and all. What's the thought of having Tom fill out the same form and see
Whoa,
what his self-evaluation opinion is on that as compared to how he perceives or
I bet my scores would be higher.
Double self-evaluation.
I mean, I do it anyway after I get yours, typically. Yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to objectively fill out a form.
again, some of the stuff is very hard to go through and analyze. I mean, how he deals with department heads. How are we supposed to really know that unless we bring in each department head and, and analyze it? I can't answer that question. And if you leave it blank, boy, does his score drop.
Yeah, I mean, if he's amenable to it, it doesn't hurt as another point of reference.
Done.
It's easy, just 9.
9, yeah, all right.
9.5.
You should hear how self-critical I am. It's not gonna be good.
Do you need the blank one, Tom?
I think his wife should fill it out.
I would move that.
Compare the two
Is
numbers.
that a motion? I'll second that.
Leave the first lady
I
out.
have an issue, and she's not an employee, but
Do you have that in a,
Yeah, I can.
I mean, I have the filled out copies on my desk.
No, I can send you the
last year.
one.
If you could send me a blank one, sure.
Sure.
The DOX, yeah.
I just think it would be interesting for us to be able to compare what his actual thought is on how he's doing with it.
I'll tell you what it would do. It would be way easier than trying to type a self eval from nothing. Like it's the worst experience. At least I had Friday off last week, and so I finished it barefoot, which is at least a little comfortable. But yeah, that would be cool. I actually, that's a good idea.
Sure. And then looking ahead, so we will, of course, for our next meeting, which is the second Tuesday in June,
The
right?
ninth?
Yep, because the first Tuesday is the town election, then council's the second meeting. We wouldn't do it, we'll have the responses from you all at that point, but then we'll have our performance evaluation committee review that before our second meeting in June. So as long as Marilyn, Ralph, and John are still good to serve on
You're on
that.
it. You're on it.
They were on it last year.
Was I really?
Yeah.
He said he wasn't, and I thought he was.
I'm gonna have to keep a running list like you, Marilyn, of what I'm on.
That was Marilyn, Ralph, and John.
John, right. Now, remember, Marilyn said 9.
Yes, I would love to do that.
Works
Great. So then by our second meeting in June, we'll have everything consolidated with some potential goals, and then
close out.
we'll close it out for the end of the fiscal year. Crazy that that's already happened, but. All right, anything else on eval? Okay. New business, we have one topic to discuss support for the Senate Bill 3050, an act to build resilience for Massachusetts communities. Thank you, Jim, for drafting a support letter. Of course, that overall bill has lots of language and probably a whole ton of provisions that who knows whether we all agree with each of them or not, but
I don't.
specifically.
You understand them?
Right, that too. Yeah, understand what it's actually talking about, but there's two specific amendments, 38 and 42. 38 would establish representation on the Springfield Water and Sewer Commission with communities that actually receive water from Springfield Water and Sewer, East Long Meadow being one of them. To me, that seems important, as we've talked about before, and it's not exactly the same structure, but it is similar to what we do with Westcom that seems to work, that, hey, we're all member communities of it, we should have a vote and representation in the direction of what's going on in the budget and all that sort of stuff. And then Amendment 42 was for the West Parish Water Treatment Plant remediation, and that would change the level of funding. I think originally in the bill, it was something small, I forget the exact dollar amount, but maybe 10,000 or 100,000, and this significantly ups
5
it.
million.
Yeah, still probably doesn't cover the cost of what they're looking at, but it's something more than what we were looking at.
Something more than nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if it's the council's pleasure, we could vote in support of those two amendments, and we have that draft letter that we can to send to our state reps, and see if that gets us any further.
Make a motion to support or have our support for the letter for support Senator Oliveira's amendment to S3050, an act to build resilience for Massachusetts communities, supporting both Amendment 38, equitable representation on the Springfield Water and Sewer Commission, and Amendment 42, West Parish Water Treatment Plant remediation funding, using
Second
the
it.
letter that Councilor Lyden put together.
So I'll second it.
Jim
Seeing as Jim created the letter.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
I think this is a great issue, and I thank Jim for highlighting it over the last couple of weeks. I think it's been really important. I think hearing from residents on it too, some people that may not have known about it. So I think hopefully other communities will enact it that are affected as well.
Yeah, I think it's pretty important. I mean, thanks to Jim for spearheading it. I know we're all passionate about it and in agreement with the topic, and certainly since we just appropriated the budget this evening for next year, we all know that the the water and sewer rates increased, but a large part of that is just a pass-on cost from what we get charged from Springfield Water and Sewer. And hopefully this could help nudge some change in that direction. Not to say that the cost would never go up, but
It will.
at least we would have some input and control in that. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Great job, Jim.
Thank you.
Great. So action items for our next meeting. Let me look at our calendar. So as we said, our next meeting is Tuesday, June 9th. We have town manager evaluation we'll continue with your submitted goals. Of course, for the 23rd is when we'll actually have everything compiled. Final, we'll have the first reading of chapter 500 for the fee, fine, and penalty schedule. I expect we'll still have changes between the 9th and the 23rd on that. We'll continue to review the,
To interrupt, did you know, did me or Jeannie, did we do that Word document with the changes last year? I can't remember.
I think so. I think we took what was just approved in the budget and kind of redlined it.
Okay. We can do it.
Okay.
If you need help.
No. So I think we have the, we can download into a
Right.
Word document because and then we can just put on track changes and spit it out.
Perfect. Then we'll continue with the farmer's market fees and schedule. Let's see. I think that's what I had so far. Am I missing anything?
So I think by the next meeting, I should be able to submit to you from the bylaw review committee, the general bylaws highlighted with a few changes.
Just a couple.
Jackie was nice enough to print it out for me. We only have chapter 315 to update. The updates that were suggested weren't included in this, so I will talk to Mr. Quimby to have him update it.
Great. No, that's a good point. And then by our next meeting, the election would have concluded, so we'll know the outcome to the ballot question, how we even proceed with all of those changes.
By the way, you did a very good job, both of you, at the candidates forum, trying to explain, get people to understand, so it was good.
Thank you.
Which, on that topic too, before I forget, if it's the council's pleasure too, I was gonna try to summarize some of those thoughts that I shared at that forum to post online, to like explain what the ballot question is, so people aren't surprised when they get to the polls what it means.
Yeah, like I said, I think the language is already basically in there.
Right.
We just didn't put that we can use it every 10 years. We didn't think ahead.
Miss anything else for the next meeting? I'm sure we'll have stuff to come out. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. To 8:08.